you're breaking it down. It falls to the ground. 'Cause I had lost what you just found. The noise all around, I'm drowning it out. Like we're the only ones in the crowd. 'Cause you save me now. Save me now. Save me now. Save me now. Save me the feelings start. I put a wall around my heart, but you're breaking it down. It falls to the ground. 'Cause I had lost what you just found. The noise all around, I'm drowning it out. Like we're the only ones in the crowd. 'Cause you save me now. Save me now. Save me now. Save me now. Save me
What is going on, guys? Thanks for tuning into the live stream for this NBA 4-game playoff slate, guys. We have a lot to break down, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. TJ will not be joining us today. First of all, I want to see if the chat is working. Let me know if you guys are hearing me, if the audio is clear. First of all, guys, thanks for tuning in. I really do appreciate everybody showing their support. And we will be breaking down this NBA slate. If you guys are interested in some MLB content, I posted the video up a little bit earlier. I also posted all of our CSGO content last night to Patreon, as well as our other esport content, as well as Call of Duty, a little League of Legends. What's going on, Justin? What's going on? Awesome, Curtis. What's going on, man? All right, so let's go ahead and break down the slate. So have you guys, first of all, been enjoying these playoffs? We got a little bit of some upset. We had some upsets yesterday. We had Orlando obviously beating out the Bucks, and then yesterday we had the Blazers beating out the Lakers, which I personally loved because I don't want to see LeBron in his reign of the Laker, or in a Laker uniform. I can't stand the Lakers. I grew up a Spurs fan, so as you guys know, it's in my blood. I personally am not a LeBron hater. I hate him because he's great, so I don't hate him for the person he is. I just hate him because he's so good. Same thing with Kobe Bryant. I hated him back in the day, rip Kobe, just because he always beat up on our Spurs. So I just grew up hating the Lakers. So I love the fact that the Trailblazers stunned the Lakers last night. So what's going on, man? Yeah, I love the NBA playoffs so far. And, as a Spurs fan, I'm obviously salty, but I love the content that's been going on. I love the fact that the Trailblazers are continuing their reign. Somebody like Lillard deserves a championship, and I know it's a very, very far-fetched, but I hope he makes it to at least the finals, man. I want to see him. All right. Yeah, studs have been performing. So let's go ahead and finally break down the slate. So we have the Nets and the Raptors opening up the day at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here. The Nets open up at 106.5, Raptors 118.5. We saw the Nets keep it somewhat competitive, and they obviously broke the slate. LeVert ended up tearing his value apart. His price tag actually went up a little bit. We'll talk about that in just a second. Utah and Nuggets obviously overperformed on their over-under. Right now they're at 106.5 and 110.5 for the Nuggets in a slight favor. We had the Nuggets pull the upset. I think that's right. Or not the upset. I think they won up straight, or they just won straight up. And then we have the 76ers 105.5, Celtics 109.5. Guys, Gordon Hayward is a notable injury to take away from that game, so that obviously is something that we're going to be looking at. And last but not least, we have the Mavs versus the Clippers. Obviously, the most anticipated game on the entire slate. Doncic versus Kawhi, and that whole Porzingis nonsense where he got the technical, and obviously the double tech got him thrown out of the game. We wanted to see Porzingis thrive and see Doncic and Porzingis obviously representing the little skinny white guys out there on the court. So I want to see them obviously keep it competitive with the Clippers. I hope that series goes to 7. And obviously with Kawhi doing what he did to the Spurs, not really resonating well in my head. So let's go ahead and start looking at these injuries. If we look at the injury report, again, nothing really too substantial other than this Boston news. So we'll talk about that in a second. For Brooklyn, Crawford. For Toronto, nothing really there. McCaw, irrelevant. Utah, still without Bogdanovich. Conley, Ed Davis is inactive. We have Denver, Barton out still. Gary Harris still out. Philadelphia, we still have Simmons, Glenn Robinson out. For Boston, we have Gordon Hayward, who suffered that injury. Is going to keep him out for, I think it was like 4 weeks or so. Hopefully he can make it back by the end of the playoffs. I think that's even a stretch. So Brown is probable. I do expect him to play. Hopefully he does, because he is one of my main plays in my series slate. Yeah, probable, should play, and especially without Gordon. Dallas, we have Brunson out, Lee, Powell, Trey Burke is probable, and Porzingis is also probable. I actually didn't know that he was tagged questionable. I don't see a scenario where he doesn't play this game. So, I mean, if he is ruled out, then all aboard the Doncic train even more so. Yes, the cheat sheet is up, by the way, Dave. That will be updated just after the stream as well. Let me go ahead and turn off my volume here on my headset. All right, so let's talk this over. If we're looking at straight Vegas odds right now, the highest implied total on the slate is going to come from the Mavs and Clippers. You obviously want a piece of that game. We look at the Nets and the Raptors. They were also underpriced last game. I do suspect that their pricing has been adjusted accordingly, but that's also the second highest on the slate. You want a piece of that game. Let's go ahead and go slate or game by game. Start out with Brooklyn here. Not too much to be said from Brooklyn other than LeVert. LeVert got that slight price increase, $8,200. Obviously, the only real true scorer on that team. You're going to want a piece of LeVert and cash. He's borderline cash GPP play. Again, it's just one of those things. If they keep it close, they're going to break the slate. Nobody's going to really be on these guys. Jarrett Allen's still at 7,100 without, obviously, DeAndre Jordan in the backcourt. He's obviously been a totally different person. 7,100 is a fair price tag. 16.1% is what he's carrying right now. Joe Harris at $5,000 got hot last game. He's a shooter, guys, so I don't suspect that he's going to get as hot as he did last game. $5,000, they're obviously going to kick up his price tag. 25.4%, obviously a borderline GPP and cash play. TLC went off last game, got his price increase to $4,700. As you guys can see, the theme for Brooklyn is that all of their prices have been adjusted accordingly. At 106.5, if you guys look back here at the Vegas odds, second lowest on the slate, actually tied with the second lowest with the Jazz. I'm not a fan as I was so much last game because all these prices are a little bit harder to get to. Tyler Johnson, $4,000, even got a price increase there, 3.7%. Only target these guys in GPPs. Because of those price increases, like I said, I'm not really high on them as I was last game. Last game, I was all aboard the Brooklyn train. I actually suggested a stack on Patreon. It paid off. A lot of these undervalued guys. But this game, I'm not too much on them. Outside of LeVert, LeVert is still underpriced. I believe his price tag should be around $9,000. It really should. The only true scorer on this team, the usage just doesn't make any sense. By the way, I need to pull that up because we're going to take a look at the Celtics, right? We're going to look at their price tags and usage without Gordon Hayward. So let's go ahead and have that ready. And also, guys, if you guys have any questions, feel free to spam them in the chat. We're going to go ahead and roll through this. All right. Yeah, Harris correct at 5K. I do believe that's more of a 50-50 play. Let me turn down this volume. All right, so let's switch over to Toronto because Toronto, their price tags are actually a little bit more appealing. Like I said, if they were to keep it close, which they did with Toronto or with Brooklyn, all of the price tags make sense. We have Lowry here at $8,000, 24.6%. Van Vliet at 15.8%. We have Siakam here at 26.2. Now Siakam is $7,500, and he actually didn't go up in price. And I suspect that he will draw a little bit more chalk. Borderline GPP and cash play. I like him here at this price tag. Again, I posted on my Patreon how much I liked him of a cash play. We have Serge Ibaka at $5,700, 8.3%. Anobi here, 19.5%. I really like that price tag for a GPP option. Powell, $4,300, 8.7%. Okay. Now, if we talk about this Toronto-Brooklyn game, again, is that the largest spread, which means people really won't be on this game in general. I only like this game for a GPP option, and even then, I only like the Toronto side. Brooklyn, again, all these price tags are so hard to get to outside of these value plays from Brooklyn. If we look here, we have Joe Harris, very easy to get to. TLC, $4,700. I don't think that price tag is going to be easy to get to with his ability. 9.9%. Again, not too many injuries in this game. This is straight up just a GPP game. A game that you're going to probably want to stack, and that is it. Okay, at least in one of your contests. Now, the big game to target here is going to come from the Utah game. If you guys look here, Jordan Clarkson is still carrying 41.8%. He's easily going to be a core play without Mike Conley on the court and some of their other injuries. Bogdanovich, guys, he was $3,800 last game, and he smashed his price tag with ease, and he didn't even have that great of a shooting game. $4,700, 41.8%. You're going to want a piece of this guy in pretty much all of your contests. Again, this is a great core cash play. I really like Jordan Clarkson here in the spot. 41.8% is actually the highest in the entire slate. Royce O'Neal at 25.1% is still a borderline cash GPP. I really like his price tag here, $3,700. He didn't do that well in his first game. He's not a good fantasy point per minute player, but guys, he's projected at 30.5 minutes. He's going to be out there playing starter minutes. I really like that price tag. Again, I really like this guy for his upside. 25.1% is actually pretty low for Royce O'Neal. $3,700. I get that the pace of the game is going to probably be lower than these other games, but you cannot ignore that price tag. $3,700 is just GPP written all over it. Donovan Mitchell. Let's talk about Donovan Mitchell. He was $8,000 last game. Got this huge price increase. I know TJ was laughing himself all the way to the bank because he was one of his favorite plays in general. Cash GPP was actually in our thumbnail. I was actually surprised at the amount of people who didn't take him. Carrying about the same ownership. You guys look up and down this roster. Jordan Clarkson, maybe Ingles, and Donovan Mitchell are pretty much the only guys that are going to create any offense. Rudy Gobert's not going to create any offense. You look at these price tags. Again, I really, really like the upside here with Mitchell. If we look at his last game, what did he end up with here? He ended up with 81.25 points. At $9,200, he only has to hit 46 DK points. I really like his upside here. Donovan Mitchell is a different player in the playoffs. He has to be for this team if they want to create any offense to keep up with Denver. I really do like Donovan Mitchell as a GPP option. 8.7%. If you guys look at that price tag, he scored 82 DK points in his first game against a very good defensive team in Denver. 8.7% is way, way too low for Donovan Mitchell. One of my favorite GPP options on the slate. Rudy Gobert, obviously 7,400, nothing too appealing there. 21.3% might actually even be too high for him. My favorite plays from this team: Royce O'Neal, Donovan Mitchell for GPP, Jordan Clarkson's a core play. You can potentially take 3 of these guys in one of your lineups. I'd be fine with that. And actually, Joe Ingles at 5,600 obviously is another GPP option. If this game goes over the over-under, which is projected right now, one of the lowest on the slate, then they're going to surprise a lot of people. Joe Ingles was a fantastic play last match. I don't like him as much in this game. I like Donovan Mitchell just because of his percentage ownership. 8.7%. You're talking about the best guy on the court, potentially, at the lowest percent ownership. It makes 0 sense to me. 0 sense whatsoever. Yeah, you scared me there. Yeah, O'Neal is not 5K. He is actually 3.7K. Very easy to get to. I still like Royce O'Neal. They didn't increase his price tag. What was his price tag last game? $3,600. So they increased it by $100. I know he didn't perform, but guys, don't look at his last performance. Obviously, that's going to hurt you. Donovan Mitchell, same thing. I mean, thank you, Chubbs, for the subscription. Really appreciate that, man. Donovan Mitchell, 82 DK points last game. He has to get to literally 45 to hit his price tag. I really like Donovan Mitchell in this matchup. Let's go ahead and talk about the other side. Denver. Again, this is going to be a game you're going to want to target in general. Jokic, still undervalued. He was at $9,200. Got a 500 price increase. The second best player, if not the best player on the court. 27.2% borderline cash GBP. I think he's more of a cash play just because there's not too many pay-up options. I like Jokic here. Millsap, again, this is just more of a GBP play. $4,300, carrying that borderline GBP cash play, 21.7%. I'm going to say at this point, guys, everybody on this roster is going to be a GBP play. I like Utah more. I like Jokic in this spot. Jamal Murray was obviously a fantastic GPP option. That $6,200 price tag. His percentage ownership is still low. Playing starter minutes, 35.5 minutes is what he's projected at. The other great GPP option, obviously you're going to want to target guys that are going to have a lot of minutes, a lot of opportunities to score. I really like Jamal Murray. Jokic in the spot, and I like the Utah side of things. Again, this is going to be a game you're going to want to target just because of these price tags. Royce O'Neal, still my favorite. Donovan Mitchell, still one of my favorites. Murray and Jokic, and outside of that, MPJ you could take a shot at, but he also got benched in the last part of the game, last game. I don't really like his upside here. Again, if he's going to be playing only 28.5 minutes at 7K, not too much of an upside here. Monte Morris playing 28 minutes could end up being a sneaky GBP option. Value-wise, 6.3% is what he's carrying right now in ownership. Again, Fantasy Cruncher provides all these ownerships, so thankfully you guys get to see this on stream. All right, let's go ahead and pause here. Actually, you know what? Let me run through the rest of the slate, and then I'll come back for questions. But, guys, Feel free to ask your questions. I will be monitoring them throughout the stream, and then I'll touch base on them at the very end. Let me see if I have any specific questions that pertain to the games I just covered. Random question here. Single entries. Do you play chalk or low-owned players? Again, that depends on the size. If you guys haven't given my strategy video a watch, DFS, it's on my DFS 101 playlist. It's about 10 minutes long. Very easy to grasp. You guys want to play chalk. The smaller the contest gets, and then the larger it gets. You want to differentiate yourself just a little bit more and more and more, okay? But again, I go over everything in that video. For single entry GPPs, again, it's dependent on the size of the contest. All right? Let's go ahead and move on to the Philly and Celtics game. Joel Embiid got that price decrease, which will make his percentage ownership go up. It wasn't much. It's just funny the way that the market works for DFS. It's just like the stock market, right? He's still sitting at $9,900. 29.3% is actually pretty chalky. So Joel Embiid becomes a decent cash option and GPP option. I'm not necessarily on him. I like Jokic more at his price tag, $9,700. I just like him to be out there a lot more. Right now they're projecting Joel Embiid at 35 minutes. Let's see what his minutes were last game. 37 minutes. So that actually should happen. A different kind of Embiid we're going to get in playoffs, going to be a chalk option, okay? So Joel Embiid becomes a very intriguing cash option. Again, Jokic, if he's carrying lower ownership than Embiid, I really do like Jokic in that spot. Yeah, they're projected at pretty much the same minutes, so I just like Jokic. I like Jokic because he does a lot more on the floor. They're going to try to revolve their offense around Embiid in this game. That's the only way they're going to keep up with Boston, so that is why 29.3% of the field in GPPs is going to be starting him. I always like my boy Tobias Harris. You're going to target guys with high amounts of minutes. Obviously, more time out there means higher DK probability. 36.75 projected minutes is what they have him at right now. 11.3%. If they want to keep up with Boston, Tobias Harris becomes a very, very intriguing option. Josh Richardson, $5,100. Did not have a good game last game. Obviously, another GPP option. Target Philly for GPPs. I have them on my Patreon as being one of my favorite GPP stacks. Mike, thank you so much for the subscription, man. Really appreciate that. Thibault, also a very good GPP option. Last game, he produced fairly well, I believe. I think he hit value, right? Yeah, 18 points. So, I mean, Thibault's another good option. Right now, they have him projected at 29 minutes. I don't hate it. GBP after that, Milton, obviously very streaky. Al Horford, $6,700 is just a price tag nobody's going to want to pay up for. Korkmaz, I mean, he's going to be playing 15 minutes. But I really like guys from this game. Embiid, Harris, Richardson, borderline GBP option, Thibault. All those guys are actually intriguing for GBP. I really can get behind Philly because they have to keep it with Boston if they want to keep this series competitive. Now, Boston without Hayward, again, is going to draw a lot of questions, guys. We're going to cover that right now. You guys are going to see me break down the production off the court with Hayward off the court. So we're going to go over to Court IQ. As you guys know, usage is one of the most important things in all of NBA. What happens when you take a certain player off the court? How does that benefit the other players? Okay, we're going to take a look at that. For you guys who are new to the channel, if you guys just subscribed, there's a couple of you out there. One thing you always have to pay attention to is usage. What happens to players when you take one specific player, especially a high caliber player like Gordon Hayward off the court? What happens to the production of the other players? You can only suspect that it's going to go up with these other players. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. Take Gordon Hayward off the court. Who does that help the most? All right. So, strictly not looking at who gets the biggest bump. With Gordon Hayward off the court, Tatum has the highest usage on the floor, 31.6% usage. If you guys don't know what that usage percentage means, it means 31.6% of the offensive possessions, 31.6% of the offensive possessions involve Jason Tatum in some form or fashion. An assist, a rebound, a shot, points, any bit of that. 31.6% of the plays have Jason Tatum in them. Okay? Kemba Walker, 28.3%. Taco Fall, 29%. It's actually the highest there. All right, so if we go down, Jason Tatum gets the highest boost, plus 2.9%. I mean, that's not rocket science, guys. I mean, obviously, if you take one good player off the court, the best player on the court is going to get the most increase in usage, okay? But this shows it right here. Jason Tatum gets the highest bump here. Waters actually gets a decent bump here, which is kind of interesting. But other than that, everybody else gets a slight boost, which is noteworthy. Jaylen Brown, 1.6% boost in usage. Taco Fall, still don't get that. Canner, I mean, everybody gets a boost. I'd say the only people that are negatively impacted are Tice, which is actually noteworthy, minus 1% almost. And that's pretty much it. Grant Williams, not really that noteworthy. So let's take a look at the Celtics team. We have Kemba Walker at $6,800 projected at 35 minutes. Marcus Smart, $5,600 at 17.7% ownership. Jason Tatum at $9,000. 15.7%. Jaylen Brown, $7,500, 10.3% ownership, and Tice at 9.3%. So let's go ahead and take a look at their starters here. The one thing that pops out to me is these guys' price tags. Okay, Jason Tatum, I believe, got the heaviest boost here. Was at $8,800, only $200 increase. Marcus Smart got a $100 increase. Kemba Walker got a $200 increase. Jaylen Brown got a $100. So let's go ahead and look at this. They all got slight, and I mean the slightest bumps in salaries. But their ownership doesn't reflect that. I really, really do like Boston for GPPs. I would say I like them in cash, but their ownerships are so darn low. Take advantage of these guys in GPPs. I really do like stacking these guys. I like Kemba Walker. Kemba Walker has yet to show his full potential. We saw Kemba Walker priced at about $8K earlier on in the season. Right now, he's priced at $6,800, and he gets that increase in usage, 20.5%. All these guys will carry relatively the same ownership, it looks like. Marcus Smart's very easy to get to at $5,600. Obviously, it's the playoffs, playing better defense, should be more involved, 17.7%. I really like him. I like all these guys. I really do. I even like Tice. At $4,700, you're talking 9.3% of the field's going to be owning him. I mean, come on. $4,800. He played 25 minutes last game. Got me to value, 21.75. That was even a bad performance for Tice. Robert Williams, my man. I'm starting him in my series. Lineup. I got him at $1,000. I know here he's priced at $3,000, so I don't really recommend him. But again, I'm a really big fan of Robert Williams right now. But you can really make a case for any one of these guys, even Canner down here at 0.5%. I know that TJ would be all aboard him. He only got 9 points. He played 8 minutes last game. It really was more of a rotation thing. They ended up playing Robert Williams to match Embiid's size. The guy that you're going to be looking at for the center is going to be Tice. Again, Gordon Hayward's out. That can only help any one of these players. I really do like the Boston Celtics today. I really, really do. I hate saying a Boston stack from a Tatum and Brown coming from a 76ers fan. Yeah, that's very bold. But yeah, I mean, these guys should smash their value. There's no reason that they shouldn't. It's gonna be about picking the right one because all these guys do get about the same boost in usage. Tatum slightly gets the highest boost for if that means anything to you guys. Tatum also ranks the worst defensive versus position versus Philly. I like him at 15.7%. I really do. So if you guys want me to put up on the screen who gets the biggest impact here, I'll leave that up on the screen. Was Hayward playing small forward or power forward? I believe power forward. Yeah, because I think Tatum was power forward. I'd have to go back and look at that. For any Boston fans, I know that TJ would have been able to tell me that. It would have had to been, yeah, because Brown would have slid up to shooting guard, Tatum small forward, and yeah, I believe Hayward was playing power forward. I believe. We know that Tice plays center. Good question. You heard it here first. Play Taco Fall. Yeah, there's so much hype around Taco Fall. So much hype around him. All right, let's go down to the last and final game. Dallas Doncic is going to be the highest owned stud on the slate, 28.5%. There really is no driver behind this other than he's the best player on the slate, the biggest pay-up option. Obviously, without Porzingis, automatic lock, but we do expect Porzingis to play. I will go through all the questions at the very end of the stream, guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to spam them in the chat. All right. So let's talk about this team. Seth Curry projected at 31 minutes, $3,600. I really do like him. $3,600. If you guys are looking for a value play, a low-owned value play, Seth Curry is where it's going to be at. Not Steph. It is Seth Curry, his brother. Kleber, $3,600, 26.25 projected minutes is what he's projected at right now. Again, Dallas has a lot of low-owned value, guys. I really can get behind some of these guys. Porzingis, a GPP option. His price tag went up. I don't know what the reason for that is because obviously he got pulled. There's 2 techs in the game. 14.2%. If you guys are looking for a mid-range pay-up option, GPP option, I really do like Tatum a lot more, though, if you're looking to compare price tags. Tatum, again, is one of my favorite GPP options. DFS, Finney Smith, carrying a very low ownership. Again, a ton of value plays in this game that are just going under the radar. I'm not a fan of Tim Hardaway. I think it's the only guy I'm not a fan of in this game or in this roster. I'm going to get Boban questions. I'll just put them the rest right now. No Boban. Only playing 8 minutes, $3,200. I even think that might be conservative. And then last but not least, the Clippers. Right now, we're not looking at any injury question marks right now. Paul George, $8,600. His price tag actually went up. I don't get that one. 20.9%. That might even be too high. If I'm looking for GPP options, guys, I'm looking towards the Celtics. I'll tell you that right now. Patrick Beverley, $3,500. 26 minutes is what he's projected at. Maybe. Kawhi Leonard, obviously strictly GPP. What did we say? We're getting MVP. Or we're getting playoff MVP Kawhi. He got 59.5 points last game. So obviously $10,000, a little bit of discount. Only GPP option. Lou Will, really not an option here. 26.5% at $5,300. I really don't like that upside. I don't like guys that aren't going to play high minutes. Zubac, obviously always going to fly under the radar at $4,500. The only center option. Harrell played a total of 15 minutes last game. He's obviously going to get that price decrease. I don't think he's going to be out there that much. I'm going to prefer Zubac if you're looking for a center position here. Marcus Morris, not a bad option as well. Playing 30.5 minutes at $4,800, but pretty much all GPP from this perspective of the LA Clippers. Are you going to start wearing your tornado shirts during the live streams? Yeah, I might, man. I have 2 DGF shirts, and I think they're both in the dirty clothes right now because I've been wearing them so much. They really are comfortable. The shirts that you guys get from the merchandise website are actually very, very nice. All right, so yeah, let's go ahead and start covering all these questions. If you guys have any questions, feel free to spam them in the chat. Let's go ahead and refresh to see what kind of ownership updates came in here. It doesn't look like too much. Pretty much the same thing that we've been covering. I'm going to start from the top. What's going on, Dave? Sub 4K value plays. Yeah, we talked about that a lot. So let's go ahead and go down here. Jordan Clarkson's not sub 4K, but $4,700 is very intriguing. Royce O'Neal is one of my favorite GPP options, borderline GPP cash plays on the slate. I really do like Royce O'Neal. I know that you guys are going to throw some hate in the chat for that, but it's okay because Royce O'Neal is still one of my favorite plays. He's out there for 31 minutes, guys. That's all I'm going to say. Anybody who's out there, you guys looked at PJ Tucker yesterday. Out there for 38 minutes. One of the worst players in the NBA. You can probably argue that. But even being the worst player in the NBA, he's going to hit value. He was only $4,100, I think, yesterday. In the showdown, he was $4,200, which is absolutely insane. Got him at 38 minutes. It made no sense to me. So same thing with Royce O'Neal. Obviously not that great of a player. 31 minutes. He's actually better than PJ Tucker, I think, fantasy point per minute wise. One of my favorite my sub 4K options. Seth Curry and Kleber. Dallas, great GPP options. If you guys are looking for low-owned value plays, $3,600 for both those guys. Monte Morris is another great option if you guys are looking for another sub 4K play. And GPPs, do you recommend I go to Clarkson and save some money or go with Monty? Well, if you're looking to differentiate yourself, I don't suggest you do it with Clarkson because he's one of the most gimme plays on the slate, $4,700, the highest owned on the slate. But if you want to differentiate yourself and get away from Clarkson, yes, Monty Morris is a great pivot. I do like Monty Morris today. Monte Morris is one of those players who's strictly dependent on shooting. If he gets hot, he's going to stay out there a little bit longer. I do like Monte Morris as a pivot option. I don't recommend it off of Clarkson. If you can get Monte Morris and Clarkson in your lineup, sure. I do like that. I love Monte over Murray. Which Murray? Monte Morris over Jamal Murray? Absolutely not. I think Jamal Murray is one of the better plays as far as GPP options because he's hard to get to and he's going to be out there the entire game. Boston tacos are the only tacos I mess with. Alrighty then. I like Tice. Hayward can't steal rebounds. Yes, I do like Tice. I like Tice because Tice at $4,700 is so easy to hit value. All he has to do is go out there, get a couple rebounds, score a couple buckets, and he's already hitting value. It's like one of those players that if he just gets rebounds, he will hit value. And anything extra is icing on the cake. At 9.3%, I love Tice. I love any one of these Boston guys for GPPs. I really, really do. Any one of these guys, sign me up. Jason Tatum is one of my favorites on the slate for GPP. Are we fading Mitchell? Mitchell's another great GPP option just because he has to score the basketball. A phenomenal performance last game. Literally got, I think it was 82 DK points. Yeah, 81.25. I mean, just a superstar in the making, right? If not, he already is a superstar. 8.7% for the best player on the court in this game. Makes no sense to me. Makes absolutely no sense. I love him. I don't love him at that price tag, but that's the reason for his low ownership. Is it insane to fade guys like Doncic, Lillard, Embiid, Jokic, Mitchell to focus on going for a balanced lineup starting with 9K and below? Not crazy. Not crazy at all. We mentioned a lot of mid-range guys. I do like some of these mid-range guys. I really have to see your lineup to see what your process is and thinking. I don't like fading some of these studs like Doncic should perform or Kawhi. One of those guys are going to have a great game. It's deciding which ones you want to fade. All right, the perfect lineup last night had only one stud over 10K, so I don't think it's crazy to fade them. I do agree with that. Today's your strategy balanced or stars and scrubs. It's a nice mix. So there's a lot of scrubs you can pay up for or pay down for that can make or break your lineup, but there's also a lot of mid-tier guys that can make or break, like Siakam's still there. We look at, let's go ahead and sort by salary. I'm going to go ahead and put the salaries up here. To name a few of my favorite mid-range, I guess we'll start at the 8K range. Like Porzingis is a great play. Paul George, a lot of these guys. LeVert's still there. LeVert is one of the best players in that game scoring-wise. $8,200. Like, if they can keep it close. There's a lot of different variables on this slate, guys. Like, I love Tobias Harris. You can literally make a claim for any one of these players. It really is dependent on how the game scripts kind of play out. I'd say in cash, go with the ownership. If anything, you guys can't go wrong with the ownership. Obviously, fade some of these higher-owned guys in GPPs. Stick with the high-owned guys in cash for any of you guys who are new to the channel, who don't already know that. I'm playing a $12 DraftKings single-entry contest, small GPP or big GPP. Oh, you're asking me if you should play that. It's up to your balance, man. I always prefer small GBPs. If you are new, if that's your only lineup that you are playing, small GBPs are where it's at. Murray or Jalen? Murray or Jalen? Jalen Brown. Jamal Murray, right? Okay, so Jamal Murray, $7,200. Jalen Brown, $75. I'm going to say Jalen Brown. Jalen Brown, because he gets that usage increase. He's sitting there at 37 minutes, 10.3%. Jamal Murray, about the same percentage. I will say Jalen Brown. More upside there with scoring as well. Siakam is constipated. That's the only way I can explain his lack of aggressiveness. There's a theory. I believe that Jokic is the best player on the court in his game, but I get your point. Mitchell has burned me so many times, so I didn't get off him at 8K last time, and of course he did. He went off. Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Me and TJ, when we did that video last slate, and we were looking at like the most obvious plays on the slate before the ownerships came out, TJ was like, yeah, dude, Mitchell has to be in there. I was like, nah, I think he's going to be lower owned. His price tag's at 8K. We're looking at a Mitchell that's usually about 7 to 8K. Well, obviously, I looked like an idiot. He played him in cash, too. So it was more of those things where you just had to look at the matchup. Denver versus straight up Utah without Conley. Who's going to score the basketball from Utah? It's going to be Clarkson. It's going to be Donovan Mitchell, and then maybe Ingles. So you look at those guys. They literally had to score the basketball to keep up with Denver. You look at a lot of different scoring options on Denver. It was just an obvious play. I think Mitchell, just the exact same kind of mindset there. Do you think he's going to get to 45 points today? If you do think he's going to get to 45 easily, you need to play Mitchell. Great GPP play. 8% ownership. Any must-have value plays for GPP? Must-have GPP. I don't think those two words go hand in hand together. Let's go ahead and take a look here. I will cover my favorite value plays. Again, I think Royce O'Neal's a must. I just do. With those many minutes, I think that he literally has to perform. I mean, you look at his last performance here, 13.75 points. I get it. Not that many. But at $3,600, he literally has to get to 17. He made it to 13.75 in 32 minutes. I get it, guys. But look at these numbers before. I mean, there was a stretch here where he was playing 39, anywhere from 34 to 39 minutes, and he was hitting value every single time. It was very easy. It's like a give-me play. It's just one of those things where he has to literally be out there the entire game. He has to hit those values. He has to. $3,700 is very, very, very easy to get to. Do you like Anunoby or TLC or Morris? I like Morris the most out of those guys. I think he has the most upside. Anunoby's not bad either. TLC, I think it's an overreaction from last game. He did very well, but he shot extremely well. I don't think he puts out those shooting numbers again. I don't. What are your thoughts on LeVert? I really like LeVert. $8,200. I liked him last game. I think he was at 8,200. No, he was even lower. He's at 7,600. So, yeah, 8,200 is very, very easy to get to. Let's go ahead and take a look at his recent performance here. 47.25. If he hits that exact value again, he's gonna hit that value easily, 8,200. He shot 5 for 14 last game. Very noteworthy, and he still got 47.25 points. I really like LeVert. Borderline cash GPP option, I wouldn't mind either or. Without OT, who does the hit value? Who should hit value for Denver, Utah? Again, it should be O'Neal. Let's go and take a look at this game. And we haven't even talked about Jokic. Jokic should hit value. I think the ones that should hit the most are obviously Clarkson and O'Neal from that game. Very easy to get to for the price tags. Clarkson or Burks in GPP. Clarkson should not be a GPP play. He's going to be your core cash play. You can put him in GPPs, but make sure that you differentiate yourself somewhere else. If you're looking at ownership, obviously Burks is the better GPP option between those two. Morris or Beverly in GPP, I like Morris. Morris has more upside with his minutes. Jamal Murray, and that's it from the last game. Jamal Murray's not playing the last game. That's the Clippers in Dallas. Yeah, took that back. It's all good, man. All right, so we have 75 viewers in here, guys. Let's go ahead. I'll wait it out a couple more minutes. Again, just to kind of recap, we'll go over my favorite core plays. It's going to be Clarkson and Embiid strictly because of ownership. We have Doncic in there. LeVert, Jokic, those are the highest owned guys on the entire slate. Siakam is followed. Royce O'Neal, one of the best value plays on the slate. GPP, you're going to target a couple different combinations of guys. You're going to be targeting Boston guys. All their guys get a boost in usage. Jaylen Brown gets the heaviest boost with Tatum. Those two are very, very good. Marcus Smart, a very easy price tag to get to. Obviously, Kemba, very streaky. Another great GPP option. And Tice. These front five for Boston, these starting five, are fantastic GPP plays. I also like a couple guys from Dallas. We have Kleber. We have Curry. Not Steph, but Seth Curry at $3,600. And those are my favorite GPP plays. All right. Appreciate that, Joe. Yeah, if you guys could smash that like button, I really would appreciate it. Any kind of support that you show towards this channel, we rank higher in the YouTube searches. We grow this brand a little bit more. Every single little like does matter, guys. I really do appreciate it. This is my full-time job, so every little bit of support does matter. I really do appreciate it. Also, guys, if you guys want to take this to the next level, Patreon, $20 a month gives you all of my favorite plays for every single slate. My favorite GPP plays, my favorite core plays, my favorite cash plays. I've been covering these series slates, which we have been crushing, by the way. I just love showdowns. I love it because there's so much of an edge. You guys only have to look at a condensed pool and then look at the minutes. Some of these guys at $1,000 never make any sense. Like Robert Williams hit 11 points at $1,000. That was 10 times value. Some people that 18% ownership, that was crazy. Are you kidding me? That was like the most give me play of all time. The best value play for a showdown by far. Again, you get all that on Patreon. And then also my MLB stacks. MLB, guys, is where the money is at. If you guys haven't played MLB, I highly recommend it. I just posted a free video earlier today. Any bit of support that you guys can show. Mitchell or Tatum? Ooh, that's a tough one. Now, that is a tough one. I wish I didn't have to decide. You know what? I will strictly say Mitchell because he's lower owned, but I love Tatum. I love Tatum today. 100% love Tatum. Really appreciate that comment, Devin. Really do appreciate that. If you guys don't have Matt's Patreon, come join. It's awesome. Yeah, not only that, guys, it's a chat, too. You guys get into a Discord chat, and we literally chat about DFS 24/7. So even if you don't want to use the Patreon, you guys come in, enjoy the chat. You guys get to talk to me, Kevin, TJ, some of our analysts, and also all of our coaches. We have 5 coaches now. It's a great time. It really is a great time. And you guys also get to tilt, too. So we have a rage room in there. You guys sign up today, and you guys get to figure out what it's all about. It's really an awesome time. The Patreon memes are worth the money. All right, Jason Tatum or Tobias Harris in GPP? I will say Jason Tatum. I really do like Jason Tatum today. I just all aboard the Jason Tatum train at that low of an ownership too. Makes no sense to me. All right. Jingles on the radar can hit value without OT. Yeah, I like him. The thing with Ingles is he's very dependent on his shooting. He had a great shooting performance last game. Actually, let's take a look at his numbers real quick. Joe Ingles shot 6 for 14, so not even that good. He took 14 shots, so that's actually pretty noteworthy in his first game without Bogdanovich. Yeah, so Ingles can end up being a good GPP option too. I took him in my main GPP last game, so it'd be interesting to see if I go back to the well. All right. What's your thoughts on Josh Richardson? I'm not a fan of Josh Richardson as much as I am some of these other plays. I will say that. Josh Richardson can end up being a good play, but again, $5,100. I like, for instance, we just talked about Joe Ingles. I like him more. Guaranteed shots, right, and minutes. Josh Richardson, not the same kind of player. I'd have to see a couple more injuries out for Josh Richardson for me to like him a little bit more. Jamal Murray or Jaylen Brown for util? I like Jaylen Brown. I think I got asked that question a little bit earlier in the chat. Yeah, that exact comparison. Looks like a lot of builds are leaving that same amount of money on the table. I do like Jaylen Brown. By the way, guys, we have Call of Duty today. Call of Duty playoffs do start. If you guys are esports fans whatsoever, that is going to be something you're going to want to look out for. It starts at 3 o'clock. I have a lot of info I'm going to be posting to Patreon. I got started my cheat sheet a little bit earlier today, so that will be out. And if you guys don't have any more questions, I will go ahead and sign off, guys. Thanks for tuning in today. It is Wednesday, so I know it's in the middle of a work day. If you guys are tuning in from work, thank you so much for showing your support. And if you guys are at home, let's enjoy some NBA time today. With all that being said, guys, let's cash. Have a great rest of your day.
You're breaking it down, it falls to the ground, 'cause I had lost what you just found. The noise all around, I'm drowning it out, like we're the only ones in the crowd. 'Cause you save me now, save me now, save me now, save me now, save me now. but you're breaking it down. It falls to the ground, 'cause I had lost what you just found. The noise all around, I'm drowning it out, like we're the only ones in the crowd. 'Cause you save me now, save me now, save me now, save me now, save me
Fill me out with your smile. Now the sunshine brings the light. Fill me out with a flame. I will let you